Have you ever looked at a bearing part number and just seen a jumble of letters and numbers? Well, it might look random, but it's not. Not at all. It's actually a superstructured, universal language that engineers and technicians everywhere rely on every single day. So let's dive in and get fluent.
So you pull a failed bearing out of a machine and you see this stamped on the side. F6205ZZC3/P5. Yeah, I know. At first glance, that is pretty intimidating. It's just this dense string of characters that seems to have no rhyme or reason whatsoever.
Here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll crack the fundamental structure that almost all bearing numbers follow. Then we'll get into the basic number, the bearing's core identity. After that, we'll move on to the prefixes and suffixes, the special features. We'll also cover the crucial performance codes, and then, finally, we'll put it all together and decode a complete part number step by step.
All right, let's get started. All bearing part numbers, I don't care who the manufacturer is, they follow a consistent three-part structure. And here it is, the whole structure in a nutshell. Right there in the middle, you've got the basic designation. Think of this as the bearing's heart and soul. To the left, you have prefixes, which call out things like special materials. And over on the right, you have the suffixes, which detail all the optional extras. We're talking seals, internal clearance, precision, you name it. It's just a beautiful logical flow from general to specific. So let's zoom in on that middle part, the basic designation. Let's use a super common example, 6205. This isn't just four random numbers, not at all. Each part has a very specific job. The first digit, the 6, that tells us the bearing type. The second digit, the 2, tells us the dimension series, which is basically how tough or heavy duty it is. And those last two digits, the 05, that is the code for the bore diameter. So that first digit is your first clue. As you can see here, a 6 immediately tells you it's the most common type of bearing on the planet, a single row deep groove ball bearing. If you see a 7, you're looking at an angular contact bearing. An N points to a cylindrical roller bearing, which is great for high radial loads, and so on. Just getting these few codes down gets you most of the way there.
Now, for what is arguably the most important part of this basic number, the last two digits. There are four special ones you just kind of have to memorize. 00 is 10 millimeters, 01 is 12, 02 is 15, and 03 is 17 millimeters. Got it? Good. Because after that, it gets incredibly simple. For any code from 04 and up, you just multiply it by 5. That's it.
So, if we look at our example from before, a bearing ending in 05, you take 5 times 5 and you've got a 25 millimeter bore. Simple. See a bearing ending in 10? That's 10 times 5. You know it fits a 50 millimeter shaft. If you remember one thing about sizing, let it be this. For bore codes 04 and up, it's always times 5.
Oh, okay. We've totally nailed the basic number. Now let's move on to the modifiers. These are the prefixes and suffixes that hang out around that core number. Prefixes, the ones that come before the basic number, usually tell you about the material. For instance, an F at the beginning tells you it's made from stainless steel, perfect for food processing or wet environments. A TS prefix means it's been heat stabilized to work in, say, high-temperature ovens. And something like 4T is often a manufacturer-specific code. In this case, it's for NTN's high-performance steel. All right, now for one of the most common suffixes out there. Seals and shields. And trust me, it is vital to know the difference. A shield, coded Z for 1 or ZZ for 2, is a little metal disc with a tiny non-contact gap. It's great for high speeds and keeps out bigger chunks of debris. A seal, on the other hand, often coded something like LU or LLU, is usually a rubber part that physically contacts the inner ring. It gives you way better protection from fine dust and moisture, but it does create a little more friction.
Another common suffix you'll see identifies the cage, the part that holds and separates all the balls or rollers. You'll often see a J for a standard pressed steel cage. A T2 usually means a nylon cage, which is lightweight and great for high speeds, and an L1 might mean a super robust machined brass cage, the kind you see in more demanding heavy-duty applications. The last group of suffixes we need to cover are the performance codes. So, what in the world is internal clearance? Well, to put it simply, it's the amount of play or wiggle room inside the bearing before you even install it. And no, this isn't a defect. It's a critical design feature. That little bit of space is there for lubricant to flow and to accommodate for things like thermal expansion when the bearing heats up.
Clearance is usually designated by a C code. CN is normal, and fun fact, it's often just left off the part number. C2 is a bit tighter than normal, while C3 and C4 are progressively looser. Now, C3 clearance is extremely common, especially in things like electric motors.
And finally, we have precision. This is often shown by a P code, or you might see an ABEC rating. It's pretty straightforward. The higher the number, the tighter the manufacturing tolerances are, and the more precise the bearing will be. A standard motor might just use a P0 or ABEC 1, but something like a high-speed machine tool spindle? No way. That's going to need a P4 or even a P2. That's an ABEC 7 or 9 for the incredible accuracy it needs to work right.
Okay, we have learned all the pieces of the puzzle. We've learned the language. Now let's put it all together and get fluent. Let's decode 6205ZZC3. Starting with the basic number, 6 tells us it's a deep groove ball bearing. The 2 tells us it's a light dimension series. The 05 is our bore code, so we multiply by 5 to get a 25 millimeter bore. Moving on to the suffixes, ZZ tells us it has 2 metal shields, 1 on each side. And finally, C3 specifies that it has internal clearance that's greater than normal. See, it's not a mystery anymore, is it?